Good morning, Gregarious. Good morning, Carissa.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Doing great. Do you go by Grace or Carissa?
Either. So the root of my name is Charis, which is the Greek word for grace.
Okay.
So I'll go by either.
How would you want me to introduce you?
Grace is good.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to make you a co-host. Do you want to practice sharing your screen?
Yeah, let me pull up my presentation. Okay, cool.
Are you in Colorado Springs, Grace?
I am, yes.
How was the time you presented at Colorado Springs 1 Million Cups?
It was my favorite speaking opportunity I've ever had, honestly. So I've had the chance to speak maybe 10 to 15 times in the last few years, and it was by far my favorite experience. I think I really enjoyed you can see that okay?
Yeah, I can see it. That works.
Okay, cool. I really enjoyed the Q&A portion of it. I've learned over the last couple years that I really like kind of being put on the spot and like just having to share because I think that's how people learn you authentically and you get to be kind of vulnerable.
Yeah.
And then people receive you well and it just feels really nice to show up and be completely myself, totally off the cuff, and then people are like, "Hey, that was amazing," and they engage in your conversation. It was really fun. So
That's awesome. Anything they did in particular to make the Q&A a memorable event? Just any feedback I can use?
that is a great question, but I don't think there's anything specific. I think it was just the format of 1 million cups is just ideal for me and my personality and the kind of situation I thrive in. So yeah. And I don't know if you know Danielle McCarthy. She's the one who helped me sign up for the Colorado Springs chapter. I don't know what you guys call yourselves, but
I think chapters work.
okay. Yeah, so she was like, "Oh, you should definitely sign up for the Denver one." And I actually grew up in Denver, so it just kind of makes sense for me too to connect with
Nice.
the community there. So
Where in Denver did you grow up?
Oh, all over. So I was born at Swedish, so lived in Inglewood, but we also lived in Littleton, Lakewood. I lived in Wheat Ridge, DTC. I moved 14 times in the last decade or so. So I lived all over. Moved to the Springs like 6 or 7 years ago. So
Wow, that's a lot of moving.
yeah. And it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened that way. I don't even know.
How many leases did you break?
None. No, I always stayed the way I was supposed to. I just would find a better place or a new place or whatever and just move on, move on, move on. And so
Okay. I'm in the process of moving. My lease ends in a month, so I'm looking at places and I'm playing their game. They really have deals, but you need to move in within like a week or two. So I'm gonna wait. I have really a month, and they're not offering me. Some aren't offering me deals right now because I'm too far out. So I need to wait a couple more weeks and then show interest. And I told them like, all right, I'll just wait. You guys have supply. You're probably not gonna fill these places, so and I have options.
Right. So are you looking for like an apartment or?
Yeah, an
Mhm.
apartment in like Wash Park area.
Mm-hmm. I never lived there,
Right,
but I honestly never had any interest to live there either.
right now I live in North Cap Hill area.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because since moving to the Springs, I go to Denver now and I'm like, wow, it's so busy here. I don't know how I ever learned to drive in Denver or like how I got around because now the Springs just feels more comfortable.
You didn't
And
learn to drive. Colorado has the worst drivers like in the country.
yeah, I mean, you got to be on your game. So I took driver's ed, thankfully, that probably helped a lot. But yeah, learning to drive in Denver was probably the best preparation I could have ever had. So
Gregorius, what's your reasoning behind Colorado has the worst drivers?
There's like a study. We have like the 5th worst drivers like in the country.
I wonder what that's based off of. Like, is it number of accidents or
I
tickets?
have no idea, but I will say Colorado drivers are weird. But I'm a New Yorker, so I mean,
Because people like in the East Coast, like in Jersey, like you just turn on your turn signal and just go in, and people should stop, right? That's how it works.
that's funny. I don't know. I've seen people drive in other countries and they can be really like in Mexico, it's totally acceptable and encouraged to drive like in the median, to drive on the side of the road. Like it's kind of a free for all. Whatever is asphalt or dirt, maybe even you can just drive on it. So being a passenger in somebody's car in Mexico, you're just like, oh my gosh.
Like, what's going to happen? You can see that around the world, even them just like paying attention to stoplights. It's amazing. In the U.S., we obey them. In other countries, like they might obey them, they might not.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
should
did
also
you?
look at the other 1 Million Cup chapters. There's one in Boulder and one in Fort Collins too.
Oh, cool. Okay, I don't think I knew that. That's awesome. How long have you been part of 1 Million Cups?
October 2019, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I went to an event and they just kept on going. And then they asked for help with their social media accounts. So I started doing that. And
Hmm.
then just took on some more responsibility, help with the organizers. And then we went to Zoom and I decided to help out, be the MC, and kind of just been the MC for a while now. And Gregarious, he's also on the team. He helps out as well. I
That's
think it's been
cool.
fun. It's good to just meet other people and help entrepreneurs like yourself kind of present your idea and get feedback so you can grow. So that's my hope out of doing this, having this platform, so people like you can benefit from it and become a better business.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Really cool opportunity. Hi to everyone else.
How's it going? Hey, how's it going? How's your day?
Just
Good. Thank
all right,
you.
I'll let you go.
Oh.
Is this your first 1 Million Cups meeting, or have you been here before?
I've been to the one in Colorado Springs before, so this is my first time joining the Denver
Awesome.
meeting. And that one was actually in person. When was that? It was right before we went to Code Red again.
In like
And we were able to meet in person.
late November.
What?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm
What
excited.
what type of work do you do?
So I'm a professional organizer, so I help people declutter and organize their stuff.
That's awesome. It's really cool.
Thanks.
Which
Yeah.
Grace is going to be talking about in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll leave it to the presentation. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, I don't want to say too much because then I won't have anything to talk about.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. As I say.
That's okay. What do you do? The aesthetic company. Tell me about that.
Basically, I do video production and photography, and also
Oh,
live streaming of events.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I actually started attending these meetings a few weeks ago.
Okay.
It's just a really interesting, just it's really interesting to see people present and talk about their business, and if they're facing any challenges, or I've learned a lot actually just by kind of attending and just listening. I mean, it's really great. So it's an awesome group. So I'm super excited to hear your presentation as well.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that, Matt.
So Matt, you attend a lot of Zoom events?
Yeah, quite a few. I just joined this thing called BNI. It's like Business Networking International.
Okay.
It's like a networking group. So I just joined that this week. So a lot of Zoom events. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but that's life, as they say.
Do you find those events effective? And if so, what do they do to make them good events?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is if I see a company that could really benefit from my services, that I try to reach out and say, hey, this is what I do. I really think your company could benefit from having a video or having better content. That's kind of one avenue I explore is, is this a company that we could work together and basically help them with their problems. Other than that, though, I mean, I think just learning about how companies are dealing with problems and how they're kind of trying to figure it out and trying to solve it.
That's cool. I'm actually also in BNI. I joined a little over a year ago.
Nice.
And in October, they made me the president of the chapter, which has been
Awesome.
a really cool opportunity, and I loved it.
What, in Colorado Springs?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I just joined the Denver one like this week. So
That's cool.
All right, everyone, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna share some links in the chat with everyone. Just some housekeeping. Please mute yourself while you're not speaking. There's the raise hand button. Please use that to ask a question. You're welcome to use the chat feature in Zoom to share links, connect with other people. And I also recommend in Zoom updating your name. You can do maybe first name, job title, or first name company, just so we can try and get to know each other a little bit better. So let's get started.
One Million Cups is a weekly educational program developed by the Kauffman Foundation.
Over the years, we've added more cities. Creates a great energy here to see what's happening across the country.
What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable. Sitting in a room with other people that have ideas too, it helps people to me think, you know what? My idea is worth something. It's worth pursuing. It's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
Well, welcome, my Hollywood Squares. My name is Nick Campion. I'll be your MC for today. You're welcome to add me on LinkedIn. I shared my link in the chat. 1 Million Cups, we meet every Wednesday at 9 a.m. via Zoom. We're here to do virtual coffee at every meeting. So if you got your coffee mug or tea mug, great opportunity to show it off. We're here to do 6-minute presentations, not pitches. Then we're going to connect, not network. After the presentations, we do 15 to 20 minutes of audience feedback and questions. This is a great place for entrepreneurs to be vulnerable, open, and transparent. And we're here to discuss ideas, not people. Quick show of hands. Anybody new to 1 Million Cups this week? Looking at the room. Grace, awesome. Anybody else new? Okay, I'm going to throw out a quick poll. You can fill it out, that'd be great. Just seeing who's new, who also considers themselves an entrepreneur. We send this to the Kauffman Foundation each week to let them know how we're doing. So for the ones that are new or don't know, we do have a website. It's 1millioncups.com/Denver. When you go to this site, you can see who's presenting each week. You can also sign up for our weekly email to see who's presenting. I also want to highlight our LinkedIn group. If you go to LinkedIn, search 1 Million Cups Denver. I also share the link in the chat. These are a great place to share links and connect with others as well, because at times with Zoom, you share links and they get lost forever. So we want to try and use our LinkedIn group for that means as well. Shout out to our sponsors. We have Enterprise, Founders Craft, Mill State Coffee, Good Elephant, Pono Media, Colorado Lemon Source, Rocky Mountain Photography, The Comments on Champ, and We Work Labs. Let's give a big round of applause to all our sponsors for being so great. Really, and a shout out to the org team, myself, Gregarious, Kevin, Carter, and Allie. Thanks for all your help. If you're interested in joining the team, please reach out to one of us and we would love some support. Now we're gonna move on to volunteer introductions. I'm looking for 3 volunteers in the room to quickly introduce their name, what they do, how they heard about 1MCDEN Cups, anything else you'd like to share with the community. Do you have any volunteers? If not, I'm just gonna call on people, but I'll first take any volunteers. Anyone? Okay, I will call on Matt. Go ahead. Want to introduce yourself? Unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Matt Yondell. I'm a founder of a company called The Aesthetic Company. Basically, we do video production, photography, and live streaming for local businesses and brands. Basically, we basically work with you to create a custom strategy for your video content or photo content. This is about my 3rd time attending 1MCDEN Cups, and I'm super excited to be here. And it's an awesome event, so super excited to be here.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Jeff, would you like to do a quick introduction?
Sure. Jeff Bartholomew. I'm a corporate lawyer, actually, and I work with a lot of startup companies. I've been coming off and on to the 1MCDEN Cups meetings, including way back when you guys were downtown, I think on 17th Street in the bank building. And I attend because, as I said, I work with a lot of startup companies, and I get ideas from the presenters here who have companies and are entrepreneurial, and I pass those on to my clients. It's you know, I like to do more than just legal work for them, and so I pass on ideas that I pick up from other entrepreneurs at these sessions.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
Sure.
And last, Jeannie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Somehow I knew I would be chosen. Just like Jeff, I've been on and off with 1MCDEN Cups since back when they were in the bank building. And I haven't been for a while, and I just happened to notice that it was this morning, and I thought, okay, let's pop in there and see what's going on. I am actually returning from a sabbatical of healing from a traumatic brain injury. So being able to organize my thoughts so I can introduce myself is definitely better than it used to be. Let's just put it that way. So I am, my entrepreneurship is typically in personal and professional development. And I'm looking forward to getting back into that as I build my business back up again. So.
Awesome. Great story. Appreciate the introduction, everybody. Great. Oh, why did I mute myself? I'm going to share my screen instead. Well, we are going to have breakout rooms later today. Also some community announcements. So start thinking of what you might want to say for those. Moving on to our presentations. Here at 1MCDEN Cups Denver, we have a variety of different presentation types. If you have an idea that you just thought of, want some feedback on it, you can fill an application and you can present your idea. We'll give you some feedback. If you already have a product, you're out in market, you got customers, and you're ready for some really good feedback, this is a great place for you to present. If you're ready to raise some money, talk to investors, you have a presentation for investors and we want some feedback on that, there's a great platform to do that. We're also looking for business experts. If you're an expert in finance or marketing, something related to startups, we love to have a 6-minute presentation on your expertise. And I'm also looking for organizations related to startups and also past presenters as well. So if you fall in one of those categories, please apply to present at 1MCDENcups.com/Denver. It's a quick application, and then we can get you scheduled. Now moving on to our presenter for today, Grace to Organize. Grace is a professional organizer. Clients call her when they are overwhelmed with clutter. A large part of their service is actually accountability, physical help, and encouragement. Let's give a big round of applause to Grace and Grace to Organize.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I so appreciate that warm welcome. I am just pulling up my slideshow here, so bear with me. There we go. So yes, my company is Grace to Organize. My name is Carissa, but I do go by the nickname of Grace. So the root of my name, Charis, is actually the Greek word for grace, which is how I decided to name my business Grace to Organize. But I'm really passionate about showing people grace. So most of the time my clients are calling me because they're overwhelmed, they're embarrassed about their spaces, they need extra help. Most of the time I'm a stranger to them. So I want them to know, even before I show up, like, hey, I'm all about grace. I'm not there to judge you. I just want to be supportive and helpful for whatever season you're in. So who am I? I'm Grace. I live in Colorado Springs right now. I presented at 1 Million Cups in Colorado Springs. And as I was telling Nick before we started, it was my favorite speaking opportunity I've ever had. I've only had maybe like 10 to 20 in the last few years, but out of all of them, 1 Million Cups was my favorite. And I especially liked it because of the format, like the Q&A, was really powerful. I enjoy that because I kind of like being put on the spot. I have made a point of trying to be more authentic and more vulnerable in my life in the last 5 to 6 years, mostly for the personal growth of it. I am trying to unlearn things that I learned as a kid and just show up and be myself and share with people. And so I like 1 Million Cups because I'm kind of on the spot. I just go with it. People ask me questions and I get to just share my heart with them. So thank you for having me here today. How did I come to be an entrepreneur? Well, I'll tell you the story. So first of all, I'll say this. I never in my life imagined I would be a business owner. It never occurred to me that that was something I could or would want to do. I was in school to be a school teacher in community college, and I was 60% done with my associate's degree and decided to stop going to community college and go to Bible college. So I did. I went for 2 years to a Bible college up in Woodland Park. I went mostly for the personal growth of it. I wanted to learn about myself, engage with other people from all over the world, study the Bible and see what was in there for me. But it was not a career move, that is for sure. And I'm getting to the end of my 2 years there. I'm graduating and I'm having this moment of like, what am I going to do with my life? You know, I'm a community college dropout with no plans to go into ministry. So what am I doing? And I had a mentor at the time, Rebecca. She's from Brazil, one of the most amazing people I've ever met. And she said, make a Facebook page for anything you're good at. So I made a childcare page and an organizing page. And within a month, I had 2 people reach out. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you knew how to organize. Can I hire you? And I said, of course you can. One of these people was my best friend's mom from high school. I had known her for 15 years. And again, she had no idea I knew how to organize things. She lives in Denver. That's where I grew up. And I drove from the Springs to go help her, drove home. And the whole way home, I was having like this, oh my gosh, this is what I was made for awareness. And I actually had this thought, you've been hoarding your gift for organizing. And it stopped me. It was like a mic drop moment where you're like, what? That's crazy. And it is crazy because I looked over my life and I had organized so many things for myself. I did it in my workplaces because I thoroughly enjoy it. And I did it in my own spaces, but I never helped anybody outside of that. So it felt like a challenge. Like, are you going to take the gift you have and go share it? Or are you going to keep it to yourself? Just to give you an idea of how natural organizing is for me, I remember doing my grandma's pantry at 4 years old. It's just something that's always flowed out of me. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to start a business. So my first thought, of course, was, oh, you need to go to business school. Well, thankfully, that's not true. And I'm glad I didn't listen to that thought. I had some awesome people in my life who started coaching me, like, this is what an LLC is. This is how you take care of your receipts. These are the behind the scenes. And I started realizing, oh my gosh, I can literally be a business owner and do what I love. And that's what I did. So I celebrated 3 years in September officially of being an LLC. And I have seen the need for my service more and more, which is so affirming. I'm sure you guys can understand when you operate in your gifts and talents and people need you and they pay you for it and they say, oh my gosh, I couldn't have done this without you. It is just so satisfying. My top love language is words of affirmation. So I read Google reviews of, my business and I tear up. I literally cry because I'm like, oh, these people find value in what I offer them. And it's just so amazing. So that's basically how I became an entrepreneur. It's been an amazing ride since then. I wanted to share with you guys some fun facts. So you know more about me as a person, because my business is a reflection of me, right? So this is me and my boyfriend, Justin. We've been together a little over a year and we are discussing getting married this year. So I'm very excited about that. My favorite hike is the Manitou Incline, which if you guys are not familiar with, it's a really tough, intense hike. It's 2,700 steps that go up the side of Pikes Peak. My favorite thing to do, I try to do it once to twice a week in the summer. This last year I was only able to do it 3 times because of the shutdown, but I was so grateful to get those 3 in. I love reading and jigsaw puzzles. I am an introvert and I love people, but I like spending time alone, and those are 2 activities I enjoy. I am very passionate about health. I think it was probably 5 years ago, 4 to 5 years ago, I eliminated 95% of the sugar out of my diet. So I eat very minimal added sugar to things. I like to read ingredients and be aware of what I'm eating. That's something I'm really passionate about. Today is actually my 30th birthday. I was born January 13th, 1991 at Swedish Hospital in Inglewood to a 19-year-old mom. She still lives in Denver. She had 2 other kids, my brother and sister. I'm actually the oldest sibling of 9. So, both my parents remarried and had other kids, and I am the only one from their marriage. And I've got 5 stepsisters mixed in there, so a hodgepodge of people, but I am the oldest. And my new favorite hobby, which I wish I would have thought to put this in the share, but I just started it last week. It's called pour painting. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but you basically mix acrylic paint with other things to make it, a different consistency. You pour it on canvas. It's an abstract piece of art. You kind of manipulate the canvas like this and the paint pours over the sides. It's really fun. It's my new favorite hobby. All right. And I don't know where I'm at with my 6 minutes. I apologize for not keeping track, but I'm ready for questions at this point.
Before we get into questions, let's give Grace a big, wait for my cue. It should be coming. Round of applause.
Thank you guys. So appreciate it.
I'm going to take over the share screen. So since we only have 1 presenter today, we have extra time. So we're going to jump into breakout rooms. And what I'm hoping for you guys to do in these breakout rooms for about 5 minutes is come up with 3 questions to ask Grace about her company. And and this is just a way for you guys to get to know each other a little bit better. So I'm going to send you guys to some breakout rooms right now. It's going to be about around 3 to 4 people in each room, and we'll come back and then we'll ask questions to Grace. All right, so here we go. I have you here with me, Grace, because I
Oh,
think it's,
sorry. Didn't
it would
realize
be
I was muted.
awkward if you were uh, in a breakout room about it.
I was like, I'll roll with it. I can help them come up with questions.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I've been wanting to ask, what is your business? What do you do?
I work for a software company.
Mhm.
It's under a private equity firm that owns
Mhm.
about 8 different SaaS businesses that are B2B focused. I manage 2 of them, one being Iron.io, another one's called Ring Capture. And they're small in terms of people. Myself and a developer run them, each one of them. They used to be bigger VC-backed companies, but the private equity firm bought them and stripped them down to what's essential. And right now we're just trying to grow the businesses. So it's very entrepreneurial, where I'm doing sales, marketing, customer support, finance, and everything besides development. So really talking to customers, figuring out pain points, marketing towards those. So yeah, it's definitely relatable to 1 million cups and what people go through.
Yeah, that's really cool. How did you get started in that?
I went to business school and I got my MBA. When I got out of it, I was looking for work, and I met this. I do Toastmasters as well, which is a public speaking club. And in my Toastmasters club, there's this one lady that knew about I was looking for work and what I'm into, and we met. And she mentioned her company Xenon that was looking for people with like a business background and do operations. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm interested. So I met with her boss, and they hired me on. So it's been working out so far.
That's cool. I like how sometimes random opportunities just pop up and then you're like, I never planned on doing this or being here, but
yeah,
it seems to work out.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, happy birthday. Fun
Thank
fact,
you.
my
Yeah.
birthday's tomorrow.
What? That's crazy. Wow, that's awesome. Did you say you were born in New York, or was that?
New Jersey. Gregorius is born in New York.
Oh, got it. Where were you born?
I was born in Chicago. My parents are from Chicago, but then I did my whole upbringing in New Jersey, and then I came to Chicago.
Is Colorado pretty different than Chicago? I've never been to Chicago.
Chicago's a big city. It's a more of a standard city where public transportation is everywhere. It's a lot more dense. Denver is a western city. It's more spread out. Not as good public transportation. Not as big. Like you can drive through Denver in like 5-10 minutes.
That's funny because now that I live in the Springs, I see Denver more like you described Chicago.
Yeah. No, not much.
But I'm kind of more of like the quiet country, laid back sort of girl anyway. So it makes sense why Denver to me just seems like too many people, because even Colorado Springs is too big for my taste, but it's beautiful here. So
I'm gonna give them 1 minute. 1 minute left. Broadcast. So you go to that entrepreneurial meeting as well? You were talking about.
BNI. Mm-hmm.
How do you like
Yeah. It's awesome. I joined it mostly so I would be consistent with networking, and I just wanted to learn. So that's exactly what I've gotten from it. Basically, every week you articulate in a new way how you help people. And so it challenges me to be creative. It challenges me to think of how do I help people and how to express that so that it makes sense to others, right? People used to ask me, what do you do? And I'm like, I organize, and they're like, okay, but what does that mean? And I'm like, well, And it was a struggle to explain it. So now it's gotten a lot easier.
Awesome. Yeah, you definitely have a unique skill that I don't know if everybody fully understands when you just say like, I organize. Like you have to like create that story for them to fully understand as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially when you're good at something, it's just kind of, it comes so naturally to you. You don't really know how to explain it to others. So you have to learn over time how to explain it in a way that makes sense to people. So,
All right, looks like we have everybody back. Hope you came up with some questions for Grace. If you have a question, please use the raise hand button so I can call on you. If you can't figure that out, just send me a chat and I can call on you as well. So who's got a question for Grace to start off? Who wants to? Jeff, go ahead. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Jeff, want to unmute yourself first?
There we go. Sorry. We were curious, Grace, as to how you market your company and your services. We assume that you, but maybe this is an incorrect assumption, that you work with people both in their homes and their private organizing, as well as maybe in their offices. But we'd like to get confirmation or correction of that. And then the bigger question: how do you market? What's your marketing strategy?
yeah, thanks, Jeff. Great question. So I do help people in both businesses and their homes, although I think people think of me more often for their home spaces. So I definitely think that's something in the future I could market more clearly. People find me on Google a lot. So the interesting thing about organizing is that it's a very personal, intimate service, for lack of a better word, but basically I am meeting people in the midst of their messiest, their craziest, their most embarrassing situations. And so usually it's the middle of the night or they're stressed about something and they decide to Google organizers in Colorado Springs. And thankfully, there's not much competition. I'm one of the few organizers in the area, and I also have the most reviews, which I think is great. And they look at my website and they see my face, they see the word Grace, they can book a free consult through my website. And so they're just trusting that this nice lady on the internet is going to be able to help them. And so I show up and do a free consult, but 95% of the time, they are already sold on needing help. They just want to find somebody that they like their personality. So thankfully, I just be myself. I show up, I smile, and they're like, okay, I'm sure you can help me. So let's move forward. So to answer your question, I get a lot through Google, Facebook, and then definitely word of mouth.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. Who else has a question for Grace? Gregarious, go ahead.
Yeah, we were curious or just thinking about like, are you teaching people how to do this better, or are you like actually just doing it for them, right? Like, or like sort of, is there a mix you see?
Thanks for that question. So 90% of the time I'm working side by side with my clients, because a large part of organizing is actually decluttering. And I tell them, I'm never going to decide for you if you should or shouldn't keep something. That's totally their input. But a lot of times they need coaching. They need somebody to ask them, well, when was the last time you used that? When do you think you'll use it again? How much did you pay for it? Who gave it to you? So on and so forth until they make the decision themselves. So there's a lot of coaching involved. A large part of my job is encouraging and motivating people to stay organized and to stay decluttered. It's all about habits. And it's funny, I'll help somebody, and from there, they get so much motivation, they move on to other areas of their home. A lot of times people know how to organize, they just don't have the time, the energy, or the creative ideas. They want somebody to tell them, oh, well, did you think of doing this or that? So it's nice to just have somebody else who is outside looking in to help with that. So yeah, I feel like I answered that in like 4 different ways, but great question.
Thank you, Gregarious.
Mhm.
Who else has a question for or feedback for Grace? Echo?
Couldn't find the raise hand button. What referral partners do you currently use? I know that there's some franchises on like junk callers, so they kind of tie together. So I wonder how many of them get questions like, would you guys do this? And most of the time they're willing to move stuff, but I don't think they do organization. So it would feed into what you do.
Yeah, thanks for asking. And that's an area that I need to grow in, is building those relationships with referral partners. Realtors are a great opportunity for me. People who are moving in or moving out of a home oftentimes need to get rid of stuff and they need to organize. Part of my service is packing and unpacking. If they're going to stage a home for selling, a lot of times they need to get rid of stuff because the house is too cluttered to show people. So realtors are great. House cleaners are great because I don't clean, and a lot of times house cleaners don't organize. So, and house cleaners want the house picked up enough so they can clean, right? So sometimes house cleaners are literally like, I can't clean your house until you get rid of stuff. And then they would call me. You're right. Junk haulers are a great one. Movers. And then I would say generally people who go into people's homes, because they're probably going to notice. The tricky part about organizing, and I relate it to somebody who's overweight and needs a personal trainer. As a friend to that person, how are you going to, in a sweet way, say, hey, I have a personal trainer friend. Do you want their information? Like with organizing, it's just as sensitive. So that person has to have a relationship with the referral, and they have to be able to say it in such a way that they're not coming off too harsh. Like, oh, honey, you got too much stuff. You need an organizer. Maybe they can say that. I don't know. I wouldn't push it. But that's the tricky part, is people have to be ready to call me, and they have to, I guess that's the best way to put it. They have to be ready. So.
Have you thought about doing reciprocal referral bonuses? I'll give you a $5 gift card. If you refer someone, they get 20% off. They just used your service, so it's fresh on their mind. They see someone who's got a messy place, and then they say, I have this discount here, you should use this. And they'll do it for friends and family.
Yeah, that's another opportunity I haven't really taken that I probably should. It's funny how a $5 gift card can actually be incentive for people. So I think you make a good point there. That might be a good goal for me for sure.
Awesome. Kevin, got a question or feedback?
Yes. Hi. I'm kind of curious what changes you've seen over the last 12 months in the types of challenges that your clients have been facing, now that everyone's spending 98% of their time in their home. And that's really kind of a two-pronged answer of challenges that people find in their work from home space versus kind of the rest of the house, and how each of those avenues have changed.
That's a really good question. And I have a lot of thoughts about it. So I'll tell you this. I started my business thinking I would just help people organize, but what I realized was I'm often helping people who are in transition. So they're adding somebody new to their home. They've lost somebody that was in their home. They're retiring. All of those things require usually a change in the stuff around us. So our stuff, I think, should change as our lifestyle and our habits do. So with the last 12 months in question, you think about how many changes, people who are working from home that have never worked from home, people whose kids are now e-learning at their kitchen table. They didn't have to do that before. They have to adjust. And so I've helped people set up home offices that never had one before. Helped people set boundaries in their home. Like, this is where the kids are going to learn. This is where the kids are going to play. And this is my space where I get to just be myself and have room to breathe. And that's important. I helped one client set up her walk-in closet with a vanity in there. And she tells me she does all her Zoom meetings locked in her closet because her kids drive her nuts. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So that's the cool thing about organizing, is that it's creative, it's trial and error, it's fluid. So we just change and adjust as things happen in their lives. The other thing I'll point out that could be sad too is that there was a lot of tension added to people's homes, maybe because of e-learning, or maybe they're around their husband like 90 more hours than they used to be. Like, there's a lot of changes in relationships, not just habits and lifestyles. And so I like to talk a lot about setting boundaries in your home. Like, where are you going to have a space that you can be yourself? You can read, you can unwind, whatever that is. We all need that safe place in our home. So sometimes I help people do stuff like that, and they love it, because what we're doing is we're speaking to them as a person and their needs emotionally and mentally, not just physically. So that's what I love about being in people's homes and helping them with their stuff, is hopefully I'm making an impact on them in their soul too, not just their physical spaces. So I don't know if that answers your question really, but to just summarize, I help people who are in transition, and there was a lot of transition in this last year. So
Thank
anything
you.
else, Kevin? Dave, you have any questions or feedback?
I do. A couple of shout outs for Carissa. One thing, and this is a lesson that every business can learn, is she is using reviews as a strategy. Reviews, we are in a reputation economy right now, and kudos to you for talking about your Google reviews or wherever you're posting those to grow your business. It's so smart. Secondly, I love your confidence. It's really impressive that you come across as very confident with what you're doing, and it speaks volumes in what you're doing. And so my question is this: it sounds like the greatest portion of your business right now is coming business to consumer. Is that accurate to say, or is it more 50-50?
oh, definitely business to consumer. That's 95% of my work. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, that's I'm struggling with it as you're presenting, and I just had this hat on. Well, how would she help a business? And then as you explain it further, it struck with me. So well done.
Thank you. I will say this: the businesses I've helped, most of the time it's like storage areas. So I recently helped a woman who took over an office that used to be a daycare, and she didn't have the time or interest in setting up the break room and cleaning things up. So I did that for her. I helped a salon, or two different salon owners, with their front desk area. You know, things just get crazy sometimes when you're a business owner, because you're so focused on the customer, you're focused on bringing people in, that sometimes the back office stuff gets neglected. And I like to do that. I like to put the envelopes here and label it so they know where to find them. And it just makes their life easier for a time until it gets crazy again. And then they either try to maintain it or call me back. But
Awesome. Thank you.
thank you, Dave.
All right, it's that time. Final question or feedback. Anybody want it? Anyone? If not, I will take it. Grace, what as a community can we do for you?
Thank you for asking. So it means a lot to me when people check out my website and my Facebook, because I put a lot of time and effort in marketing myself well online. And I have learned a few things over the years about SEO and online presence. And I know that every visit to my website helps me out. So if you guys would go check it out. I love feedback, knowing what it looks like. If you had never seen an organizer's website before and you saw mine, what stands out to you? What could be improved? My whole vision for my website is for people to see me as a gracious person who's there to help them. So I want to know that my website is communicating that well. And then organizing is very visual, right? So I have a ton of before and after pictures on my Instagram, Facebook, And through my website, you can get to those. And that helps me because then you guys have a better idea of how I help people. And if you know anyone, you're like, oh, look at her Instagram, and they can see for themselves. You know what happens is people see a before and after of a pantry and they're like, oh, my pantry looks like that, but it could look like that. And then it just makes sense to them. So I would so appreciate if you guys would do that.
Awesome. Well, Grace, you deserve one last, wait for it. It's coming. Cue it up. Round of applause. Great job.
Thank you guys. I so appreciate the support. It's awesome. That's the greatest thing about being as an entrepreneur is having people support you through your journey. So thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Since we're here also to connect, we're going to do a 15-minute breakout room. If you need an icebreaker to start off the conversation, I have one for you. It is, what is your favorite item you bought or received this year? Or you can just connect with other questions as well. But I'm going to throw you guys into breakout rooms for about 15 minutes. Then we'll come back to community announcements and we'll end at the top of the hour. So I'm going to start that right now. I've kicked you guys out of your room back to this room. So you're in the right spot. You can unmute yourself.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I thought I got kicked out there for a second.
Yeah.
Zoom doesn't let me, like, I have this main room, but when I start breakout rooms, I have to put everybody into a room. I can't assign the main room to people.
Oh, and does someone have to stay in the main room the whole time?
Me, yes.
Okay.
I don't understand why
Yeah.
one of the breakout rooms can't be the main room.
Yeah, I know you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
So I have to create a fake make breakout room and then kick guys out of it back to here to.
Yeah, to put them in the room. Yeah.
I learned last week, I sent everybody out to breakout rooms and I was just sitting there by myself. I'm like, I didn't do this.
What should I do for 15 minutes?
I found time to do stuff, but awesome. Well, I don't feel like I need to host this, but if you want to start,
Right.
Yeah.
What is your favorite item you bought or received this year? You can start off.
Mine or Kevin? Kevin, do you want to go ahead or?
Go ahead. I need to think about this one.
I actually bought this this gimbal for my camera. Basically, it's like a stabilizer for video. I've gotten a lot of I've shot a lot of really cool videos on that thing, and that's probably like my favorite purchase of the past year or so. So I've been using that almost every day, which is it's huge, and it's never really failed me. So it's been a huge tool for my business.
Do you have it nearby? Can you show it off?
It's like packed away. It's in this like case. I can grab it if you want though.
Sure. If we're
all right, awesome. Here, let me get it for you.
All right. I'll when he does that, I can share off my item.
Yeah.
I got this for Christmas.
The Theragun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a knockoff, but
sorry, a percussive massager?
Yes, it's fantastic. It's so simple. Like I don't like a lot of accessories. So it's just this 3 stages and it's awesome. So.
I mean, in every one of these I've been to, I've seen your bikes in the background. So I just assumed that you were a foam roller guy.
Yeah, I have 2 foam rollers as well.
Does it give you a different experience? I mean, obviously the experience is different, but is the effect that much better with the percussive gun?
Yes, definitely. It really hits harder, and especially like for your legs. Right now I sprain my ankle, so I need to work on my calf a lot, and that really gets into like the lower part of the ankle as well, which is kind of hard to do with like a foam roller.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we got there, Matt.
This is the gimbal. I actually was able to put it together really quickly, but basically what it is the handle. There's this little joystick. So when the camera is balanced on here, the camera can go up and down and tilt up and down and pan side to side. And then there's also like just kind of these different modes where it can roll, tilt, but it just keeps it really stable. So, it's you can get a lot of like tracking shots of, like following people or stuff like that. But you just basically have to, balance the camera and kind of move the like the little scale things so it's balanced. And that's pretty much how it works.
I've seen those before, and I'm always amazed. Like, how does that work? Like, how is it staying stable, even though like you're moving around? Like,
yeah, basically, it has motors. So like you have to get it to like a point where it's balanced completely. So basically, if you move it, it stays in one spot.
Okay.
And then basically, what the motors do is they just kind of counteract the motion that you're kind of putting it through. So I mean, that's pretty much the best way I can explain it. There's a lot more like computer algorithms and stuff it's calculating, but yeah, it's super cool though. I'm really glad I bought it, and it's really helped my business. So it's just interesting. Like one little thing can actually completely kind of change how you do things, or how you kind of operate. So it's been awesome. It's really fun to use too. So I mean, that's the best part.
And it just looks super cool.
Yeah. I had this this gimbal before, but it basically you would like hold it like this. So this one you hold like this, so you're you're not straining as much like doing this, because if you're carrying a camera and doing this for a few hours, like it just really tires your arms out. So this is like you're holding it closer to your body, and it really I've been able to operate for like a few hours with it, and it's definitely heavy. I mean, it gets pretty heavy, but it's a lot more like comfortable for your body. So Kevin, what did you get? I'm not sure if I heard you talk about your item.
I decided I'm just going to go with these earbuds because I have
nice.
I have very strangely shaped like inner ears.
Okay.
And so it's been a tremendous pain point for me for probably 10 years is trying to find earbuds that will actually stay in my ears for longer than 5 minutes.
And they're wireless, it looks like?
So yeah, they're completely wireless, but what makes these, like I tried 5 or 6 different kinds, but these have a little loop that then kind of pushes up into the ear, which is how they stay in place, because this search has just been infuriating for me.
Yeah, because I have like AirPods, and they always fall out of my ears. Like I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've some giant ears, and it's just like it's annoying when it just constantly falls out. That little circle thing is cool though, and they look really like secure.
They're not quite as secure as they could be. I even need a bigger circle thing, but it's amazing how a 5-cent piece of rubber would make me so much more likely to buy a $150 pair of earphones. It's just that
it's actually really funny.
It's just that nobody does it.
Yeah.
How many did you try, Kevin?
I think this was I got through 5 pairs before I realized what the problem was.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then once I realized that I needed something bigger to latch onto the inside of the ear, this was the second pair after I made that realization.
And you've gone away from doing around the ear ones? I have those.
I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah. I have those for running.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I wanted kind of a better microphone experience, and I've had underwhelming microphones on the over the ear ones.
Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds great from my end.
Does it? Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And with my current client, I'm a spreadsheet jockey. Normally I'm working in Excel 7 to 9 hours a day. But with this new client that I have, I'm on Zoom or Slack calls 5 hours a day. And so that really made it a priority to be able to move around a lot easier.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, I have like the AirPods, and the thing I do really like about it though is you can just do other things with your hands and talk and still talk and have a conversation and listen to a podcast or something, or I always do that, and get stuff done around the house. But then you don't have to worry about the cord and getting caught on stuff or so it actually does really, really help. It's like such a minor thing you don't really think about, but it does make a difference.
Yeah. So that's been my major game changer.
Awesome. And Nick, you said you got like a Theragun, like a massage gun.
Yeah, that's my new toy for 2021.
And so it seems like you do. You're like a road cyclist.
I'm a guy that likes to show off bikes but not use them.
It's awesome bikes. Those are really cool.
I got a mountain bike here, and then a road bike, and then I have a third single speed city bike.
Awesome.
Try to, and then I have this book that I'm trying to dive into this year. This road bike.
Nice.
400 page book. I feel like I'm lying where I have these bikes. I kind of understand them. I know the basics, but I would like to know like everything about it. And that's kind of my goal is to get through this book so I can talk the talk. I guess.
Do you ride? Do you like? I guess you don't really commute anymore. But do you still ride your bike in the winter or not as much?
I went up to CU Boulder to get my MBA, and I was living in downtown Denver, and I would bike to Union Station and take the bus up, and I would take a mountain bike, and it would work great in the snow. Like I layer up, I handle the elements, so
that's awesome. It's really cool.
I think I've always tried. Like I can handle like 3 to 4 inches of snow. I think after that, then it's really hard to bike in the snow. But
that's still a lot though. That's impressive. I just ride in the spring and summer, like just when I'm kind of like in the neighborhood or just going to like closer places. I just have like a road bike, but I just can't ride in the winter. I just freeze my butt off. So, but that's awesome. You're learning about the bike maintenance though. There's so much that goes into it that you don't even think of,
And that, to me, that always seemed like the most interesting part of bike ownership and bike riding was the tinkering and the mechanical aspects.
Yeah, and it's always cool to see people, like custom fitting their bikes with, like kind of like the specific, derailleur or whatever it is. Like it's like they get the specific Pete's that they like really, really like, and they kind of like mod it out to almost like, pretty much like a car. It's like, it's amazing what some people like, what those like really like hardcore road cyclists, like whatever like weighs too much, or, they try and figure out like the perfect like part to put on their bike. It's super interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I guess, do you guys own bikes at all? Kevin, do you own a bike?
I don't.
Okay. And Matt, do you?
I used to, but I don't now.
Okay.
I have a road bike, and then I have like an electric bike. So I ride the electric bike a lot, just for fun and to get stuff done. And so that's always fun riding that. But to kind of just to get some exercise, I hop on the road bike. When it's not too cold, I love doing that. And but it's weird, like switching from an e-bike to a road bike. You're like, where's the boost? You're like, where's the like the pedal assist? But then it's like, you're just. But again, it's a better workout, I guess. But yeah, I have two. So
you should start that off with as a joke, like, yeah, I like to work out on my electric bike. It's a great workout. I just get the drain on my body.
Yeah, it's actually cool though, because you can go like really, really far distances, Like, I guess you still could with a road bike, but with an e-bike, you can get there like pretty quickly. So I remember I rode to like Cherry Creek State Park on the e-bike like this summer, and it's not like too far, and you can definitely do it on a road bike, but just having like the assistance, like going up all those kind of hills on the Cherry Creek Trail, it's like so fun to ride. So I would like this summer I kind of went down there and just to kind of get out of the house and do other stuff. So, but yeah, I'm gonna start saying that. I just work out on my e-bike.
And then when you get to meetings, you also don't have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, you're not. It's actually, well, I actually, the company I got the bike from, I used to work for. So part of my payment was like, hey, we'll give you an e-bike. And that was actually kind of one of their like marketing things is, you can show up to work and not be like covered in sweat. And it's like and I mean, it's kind of true, I guess, but even if you're still riding a bike in that heat, like you're still gonna sweat a little bit. But that was like their selling point of like, show up to work with no sweat, or it's no sweat. So
yeah.
But e-bikes are really interesting though, because like a few years ago, like no one had ever heard about them. Now they're huge. So
yeah, if I do need a bike, that would be my fourth bike, would be an electric bike.
Then I just check them out. They're really fun.
Or you could just get 2 unicycles and ride them simultaneously. No idea how that would work, but
what bike? I went biking yesterday, actually. First time for the year.
Nice.
Yeah, Matt was saying he likes to work out on an electric bike.
I don't know if that quite counts.
It's a really good core workout, just sitting there.
Exactly.
Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your session, meeting everyone. Matt and Kevin, we talked about things we got for the new year and my bikes, which is fun. Moving on to community announcements. Anybody here have an event, something like to share with the community? This is the opportunity to do that. Anybody here? Go ahead.
I still don't know how to raise my hand.
Okay, you got it. I can see you. Right icon.
I'm Iko Cheslin. I've been running an event called Denver New Tech for a while. COVID kind of shut it down, but I've seen a lot of tech entrepreneurs pitch, and usually they struggle pretty aggressively. So I've been coaching a lot of tech entrepreneurs on how to better present through a meetup called Pitch Camp. So I'm developing a product around that. If you know anyone who needs help with their presentation skills or putting together an investor pitch, I'm happy to help, give feedback, set up a program for them to practice properly. So you can reach me at lucidpaper@gmail.com, and I'll throw that in the chat. But yeah.
Thank you, Iko. Anyone else have a announcement? Going once, twice.
Oh, I did share a link before. One of my products I've been working on just launched on Product Hunt. So if anybody's, interested in giving me an upvote, I'll take it.
I just selected the link. I'm going to do it right after. So should everybody else.
Thank you.
And then we're going to move on. Just a reminder, our website, 1millioncups.com/Denver. Please invite friends, coworkers. We'll be here next week. If you're interested in presenting, or know somebody that should, tell them to go to our website to apply. And also the website will give you more information on who's presenting each week. Last announcement, you guys are awesome. Thank you for being awesome coming here. I hope you enjoyed it. Have an awesome week. And if you need to see these videos again, we do post them on YouTube as well. But thanks for coming out, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you, Grace, for your presentation. And thank you, everybody, for all your questions and feedback. And I will see you guys next week. See you later.
Thanks a lot.